Welcome back to the Breathe Blueprint podcast. This podcast is for high performers, leaders, and entrepreneurs who carry a lot of responsibility and want their success to last. Here, we talk about performance, pressure, capacity, and the nervous system behind it all. Not in a dramatic burnout and breakdown way, but in a calm, intelligent, sustainable way. Because real performance isn't about pushing harder, it's about building the internal capacity that allows you to keep going without burning out. Burnout does not usually happen to the weak. It happens to the capable. It happens to the reliable. It happens to the ones who can handle a lot. And that is exactly why they do not see it coming. High performers are incredibly good at coping. They are good at adapting. They are good at pushing through. They are good at problem solving. They are good at staying calm when things get chaotic. They have built their identity around being the one who can take more, and that becomes the blind spot. Burnout is not dramatic at the beginning. It does not walk into your life and announce itself. It whispers. It starts as a slight tightness in your chest, a bit more irritability, sleep that feels less restorative, work that feels heavier, even if nothing has technically changed. But because you are competent, you compensate. You tell yourself, this is just a busy season, this is just growth, this is what leadership feels like, this is what ambition requires. And you keep going. High performers miss their own burnout because they are trained to override discomfort. You override tiredness, you override stress, you override emotional signals, you override your body, and you are rewarded for it. You get praised for working late. You get praised for being dependable. You get praised for being strong. You get praised for never dropping the ball. So when your body starts sending subtle signals, you interpret them as weakness, not information. There is also another reason high performers miss burnout. They measure performance externally: revenue, deadlines, output, achievements. As long as those things look fine, they assume they are fine. But burnout is not measured in spreadsheets. It shows up in your nervous system, in your ability to switch off, in how present you feel in your own life. You can be achieving and still be draining. Before we carry on, let's take a brief breathe break. Nothing dramatic, nothing to fix, just a small pause to let your system settle. If you can, sit back slightly in your seat. Let your shoulders drop, unclench your jaw, and let your tongue rest at the bottom of your mouth. Gently bring your attention to your breathing. No need to change it yet, just notice it. Notice the air moving in and the air moving out. Now, begin to slow the exhale just a little. Not forcing it, just allowing the breath out to be slightly longer than the breath in. In through the nose, and a slow breath out. Longer exhales signal safety to the nervous system. They help the body shift out of a constant alert and into a more regulated state. So let's take 3 breaths like that. Breathing in and slowly out. Again in and out. A little longer. And one more time in and a slow, steady exhale. Now let your breathing return to normal. Gently notice your body. Notice the 3 points of contact: your feet on the floor, your back against the chair, and your hands resting somewhere. This is what a small increase in capacity can feel like. Not dramatic, just a little space, a little less internal pressure. You haven't fixed everything. You haven't solved your workload, but you've just shown your nervous system that it doesn't have to stay switched on at full volume all the time. And even small moments like this, repeated regularly, help protect the capacity that your performance depends on. Alright, let's continue. Most high performers do not go straight into burnout. They enter what I call brownout first. You are still functioning, still delivering, still showing up, but you feel slightly off. A little bit flatter, more mechanical. You start operating on duty rather than desire. And because nothing has collapsed, you do not intervene. You wait. The irony is high performers are excellent at spotting burnout in other people. You can see when your team is exhausted. You can see when your partner needs a break. You can see when someone is stretched too thin. But when it's you rationalize it. You tell yourself, other people have it worse. I chose this, I can handle it. And often you can, until you cannot. Burnout in high performers rarely looks like someone who cannot get out of bed. It looks like someone who keeps going, but joy has quietly left the room. It looks like someone who achieves something and feels relief instead of satisfaction. It looks like someone who cannot remember the last time they felt fully present. So why do high performers miss their own burnout? Because they confuse resilience with infinite capacity. Resilience is your ability to recover. Capacity is how much you can hold. You can be very resilient. You can bounce back quickly. You can absorb stress well. But if you never reduce the load, even resilience has limits. Just because you can handle it does not mean it's sustainable. Just because you are capable of more does not mean more is required. The shift is moving from proving to protecting. Protecting your energy, protecting your recovery, protecting your ability to enjoy what you are building. If any part of this feels familiar, it does not mean something is wrong. It just means you are paying attention. And paying attention early is what keeps performance sustainable. If this episode resonated, it's usually a sign that your nervous system isn't asking for more effort, it's asking for more capacity. That's exactly why I created the High Performer Scorecard. It helps you see where your energy, recovery, and nervous system capacity might be under strain, so you can rebuild performance in a way that actually lasts. You can find the scorecard through the links in the show notes. And if you found this helpful, share it with someone else who carries a lot but rarely slows down. I'll see you in the next episode.